still like, do I really have to go and get this Maisha Card? And if I get this Maisha Card after 10 years, do I cease to be Kenyans? That is the big question that it's tackling around a lot of people, because there are over 10 NGOs that went to court to stop the issuing of the Maisha Card. Jambo and welcome back again. I am Tanvin Onyango, and today we will be talking on about something that has been trending as well. So I believe you have had a chance, and if you haven't had a chance, probably you've heard about it. This is it. This is what we are talking about, the Maisha Card. Okay, so since last week, around on Thursday, if I'm right, the Maisha Card has been trending. Yeah, I like talking about trending things. Anyway, so the Maisha Card has been trending, and it was first announced by the government last year, around September, if I'm right, around September, by the government, and they had announced that it will be replacing the IDs that we have currently. You understand? And funny thing about the Maisha Card is that it has an expiry date. After 10 years, Rudi can replace ID. So this has been creating a lot of conversation online, and people have been asking, now, if I get my Maisha Card right now, after 10 years, do I cease to be Kenyan? You get it? And also, if you can also look at the scenario, there were speculations that the Maisha Card replacing it and also going to get it, it will go for around 2,000 Kenyan shillings. So take 2,000 Kenyan shillings. There are probably, the last census, there were 40 million Kenyans. So right about now, let's put an approximate of around 50 to 55 million Kenyans. So take that 55 million Kenyans, multiply it by the 2,000 amount of money that one has to pay to replace the ID or even to get the Maisha Card numbers, because we all know how we Kenyans are. Not every Kenyan will be so fast to go and get the Maisha Card, because even I myself, I'm not even that fast to go and get it. So some Kenyans have been stating that this is actually one of the many ways of the government to raise revenue. And as we have seen with the current government, is that they have decided to come with a lot of measures to try as much as they can to raise revenues so as it can sustain their tenure as long as they will be ruling Kenya. Okay? So this has been hitting a lot of social nets. So as a Kenyan, what is that one of your largest or maybe your top-notch question that has been running in your mind from the minute that you heard about it? So after they had begun the rollout or so, I'm still putting it in quotes, but I've seen some people with it, the court issued a stop in everything, saying that they had not issued a public participation before issuing the IDs. And which imefanya some Kenyans have relaxed, but some are still like, do I really have to go and get this Maisha Card? And if I get this Maisha Card after 10 years, do I cease to be Kenyans? That is the big question that it's tackling around a lot of people, because there are over 10 NGOs that went to court to stop the issuing of the Maisha Card. Apart from that, now the court issued a ruling that until they come up with a better legislation that will govern everything concerning the Maisha Card itself, then they can see a way that they can be putting the Maisha Card to come up through. Okay, now this Maisha Card will be issued to people upon once you're born, you have your own Maisha Card. So the Maisha Card will be acting as your birth certificate, as your national ID. It will be connected to your driving license, connected to your passport, and also you can also have a virtual Maisha Card. So if you cannot work with the hard copy, mnajua ile kitambulisho yetu tunasema ni kupoteza saa 2,000. So it is stated that it will be used to cover a lot of things, unlike the current one that we have. So it will be connected with the databases, and a lot of information will have to be taken, so as you as an individual can be able now to use that Maisha card, because as you can see, it will be used to cover a diverse area. And it's quite funny, it's quite tricky, and it is quite confusing at the same time, because we were not educated before. You understand? Like the public participation, whereby we get told we are introducing this, this is how it will be happening, and these are the benefits, the bad side of it, and everything. No one was told. But now, after the government just goes ahead and makes a pure lineup of illustrations on how they will be doing it, and after the court issued the stop on about the Maisha card issuing, the government went ahead and stated that the court has not given us the chance to debate properly and to show them the benefit of using the Maisha card. Remember, during Uhuru's tenure, they had come up with the Huduma number. After all Kenyans went and did the registration of the Huduma number, the Huduma cards had also been issued out. There were people who had already gone to collect their Huduma cards. Then we go ahead and then we hear now this new Maisha card. Okay, now Huduma number and the Maisha card details, they are same in one. Okay, the only difference is that it doesn't superbly act like the current national ID that we have, because they were to be connected. Huduma number was to be connected with a lot of other services, just like the Maisha card. So, do you think that the government should always issue a proper measure and a proper time for Kenyans to have an awesome deliberation before just bumping out of the blues and decide that we are introducing something new? Because you can even see now let's use a gadget for an example. Okay, for instance, let's say a company like Vivo, Xiaomi, Samsung, iPhone wants to introduce a new gadget in the market. So what they usually do is that they will do a research, right? After doing a research, they'll be ensuring that they have a better knowledge of what they will be introducing to the market. And before introducing into the market, they come up with something like a sample on what they will be introducing. Now, after coming up with a sample, they do a launch. During the launch, they will be they educate people or their potential clients who will be upgrading or even going to purchase the gadgets on about every feature that that gadget will be holding. And now come to Kenya, come to Kenya, whereby now our government, let me put it across how it will just come out. The government will just sit down, come up with something, decide it into their own, like in their four walls in that boardroom. And then after making the decision, they just call for a press briefing and then make the issuing. You see, that creates a lot of division and a lot of confusion among people, because it is very hard for you to understand, like, if I go for this, last time I went for that. You see, like right now you're going for the Maisha card. Previously you had gone for the Huduma number. Still there were those weird speculations about it. And right about now also they were stating that the ID printers were put to a pause, to on hold, and there has been a lot of submissions of people who, especially the 18 years people replacing their lost IDs, who went ahead to apply for new IDs so as they can be able to access services like the M-Pesa, we have the bank accounts, the insurance services, and everything that you need your national ID to access. And now because the ID printing was put to a halt, because, you understand, because there is a confusion between Huduma, the Maisha Card and the national ID that we are used to seeing. Mark you me that then Huduma, the Maisha Card, sorry, has an expiry date. This other one doesn't have an expiry date. We have Kenyan citizens who are 80 years plus. Now, the big question also is if I am 80 years, yeah, if I am 90 years, I have the kitambulisho that we used to use before. Now, do I have to go back into the Huduma Center, make another lineup, fill other documentations, sit there and wait so as I can be able to access government services? Or is the government deciding, has the government decided that we can choose to use any of the two between the Maisha Card or the national ID that we have? What's your thought? What's your thought? Because it is confusing. At the same time, it is raising a lot of concerns because I believe that the government needs to start creating the barazas. Go to the streets, go to the villages, go to the homes, go to people's workspaces, do the research, do the analytics, ask them questions on how they expect things to be done. You understand? Because assuming Kenya has probably, as I said before, 55 million citizens right now, and you decide that you're doing your research and you go and ask 1 million people within 2 months. You see? So the million people who will have given their decision against the 5.4 million Kenyans remaining, or the 50.4 million Kenyans remaining, it will diversely affect the decisions that they will come with, because probably the 1 million that made the decision, they are not thinking the same way the 55.4 or that other majority number is thinking of. You see, so we have legislators in parliament, so why not come up with a baraza? Yeah, there are usually, nowadays there are these meetings that are usually held in the different social halls in each constituency. Last year there were quite a number whereby they used to discuss on about such topics. So it is in such places that they can decide that today we will be discussing on about issuing of this service to Kenyans, and this is how it will benefit them. Because one, we ain't that sure that our personal details will be stored well. You see, because there are a lot of Kenyans whom are usually afraid of sharing their fingerprint details, their eyes, you know, you understand, like if you are in IT, you also understand how such details are used in logging into bank accounts, your own personal informations in your gadgets and so on. So how sure will the Kenyans be? Come up with these conversations and teach the Kenyans at large, especially the mamambogas, the people who are less privileged, whom never got a chance maybe to go to school and get to learn more. Because right about now, Kenyans have a lot of stress. You see, Kenyans have a lot of stress on the economy. Then you come introduce something else, they're confused. So, well, I'm always here to give you, to bring the conversation, to keep you thinking, how should the government act to enact these laws that should be governing our self and our own personal uprise and upkeeps in this country? Okay, so it has been an awesome, hope you got to learn something and understand something about the Maisha Card. And remember to hit the subscription button, like, share, and follow us on all our social media platforms. This is the Tanvin Talk Show.